Hey, what's up? It's your boy Rawk. As a true enjoyer of all things video games, most things video games, one of the core things that defines my personality is an inability to be content with what I have. I have most of the Wii U games, not good enough. I want all of them. I have crushing debt, big deal. It could be debilitating debt. I have King K. Rool in Smash? Yeah, but where the fuck is Waluigi? Look at this. Why should I be happy with it? Super Smash Bros. Is a series that's defining wow factor stems from its roster. Where other fighting games have ultra-refined, competitive-ready gameplay that's near impossible to master, Smash Bros. Has Toon Link. The discussion surrounding which characters should be in any potential Super Smash Bros. Game is one of the most abhorrent things I've ever known outside of modern-day Paper Mario discussion. With so many characters out there that could potentially be good picks for the crossover bonanza, there are some very opinionated folks out there that are ready to tell you why their favourite character deserves in more than yours. And on top of that, there are so many perceived rules about who can and can't make it into Smash Bros, and those rules seem to change with every new addition to the roster. But regardless of some of the unpleasantness that can stem from the conversation of new Smash characters, it's still a fun chat to indulge in. So, let's do just that, without restricting myself within the barriers of any perceived rules. Now, I want it to be known, I don't really want a new Smash game right now, so by proxy, I don't really want any new characters. I'm more than content with Smash Ultimate and the roster it gave us, so I'm not begging for a new batch of characters. I'm also coming into this with the perspective of, wouldn't it be fun to imagine some brand new Smash fighters? After Smash Ultimate, there aren't really any characters that I look at longingly and say, man, Nintendo need to smash it. Except for one. Gasp! Ever since I knew how to string sentences together, Waluigi has been one of my top picks for new Smash characters. So much so that every time Nintendo have actively not revealed Waluigi, I've actively cried. Look, I get it. Waluigi doesn't appear in a great many games. In fact, he's relegated exclusively to side series, which could make inventing a moveset for the guy a pretty tough task. My counterpoint to this is that they should lean into Waluigi's side series roots and have his moveset reference them exclusively. I haven't thought up like an entire moveset here, but what if his neutral special saw him hitting a dice block like in Mario Party, and each number has a different outcome, kind of like Mr. Game & Watch's side special? What if his side smash saw him using a baseball bat as a reference to Mario Baseball, and it has a similar effect to the home run bat? What if his throws saw him spiking his enemies with a tennis racket? The list goes on. And of course, we'd have to get some Waluigi pinball references in there, either the Mario Kart or Mario Sports Mix version, whether it be through his final smash, which sees the other players turned into pinballs and sent through an overly elaborate course, or through a costume that references his Robo Waluigi in Mario Sports Mix. Oh yeah, alternate costumes. They're pretty easy here. I mean, Mario Tennis Aces, Mario Golf Super Rush, and Mario Strikers Battle League offer a minimum of 3, plus Robo Wa bringing us to 4, and the remaining 3 to round us up to 8 total costumes we can just pull from Mario Kart Tour. I mean, for God's sake, man, every other human character from the Mushroom Kingdom has made their way into Smash as a playable character. Why, oh why, must Waluigi be the one not invited? Out of spite. Chibi Robo isn't the most well-known character in the world, I'll grant you that, but I honestly think he has a lot of potential as a Smash character. Hear me out, alright? Even if we were to just go off of his first game, our favourite tiny robot has plenty to pull from to make a moveset. The tools that can be found throughout the game are a really solid basis for a moveset. The toothbrush you use to clean the floor could be used in a similar way to the Inkling's ink roller. The Chibi Copter would obviously be his up special in recovery. Hell, he has a gun! There's your neutral special right there. And if they were really strapped for moveset ideas, I don't hate the idea of using the plug lasso thing from Ziplash. You use that like a whip for his smash attacks, or use it as a ledge grab. I don't have much of a problem with that. But that's the only representation Ziplash gets, damn it. And in terms of alternate costumes, there are a ton to choose from the original game alone. Tell me you wouldn't pay good money to see Froggy Robo kick the shit out of Captain Falcon. I dare you. Come on, how hasn't this happened already? Bandana Waddle Dee has become something of a mainstay in the Kirby series. To the best of my knowledge, he made his playable debut in Kirby's Adventure Wii, and right off the bat, he already had a Smash-compatible moveset. I don't know if this would map like perfectly one-to-one, and the argument could be made that even if it could, that might be a bit boring. But Bandana Waddle Dee is ridiculously fun to play as in Kirby's Adventure Wii, and finally seeing the lineup of playable characters from this game play out in Smash would be so goddamn satisfying. I mean, just turning his spear into a tornado to use as an up special, that alone sells Bandana Waddle Dee as a fighter. And hey, while we're at it, wouldn't that make for the first ever Smash character who exclusively uses a spear? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the closest we have to a spear fighter is Byleth, and that doesn't really count. So to finally have a character in Smash use this different weapon type, that would be really interesting to see. There's a lot of potential there, especially when it comes to ledge control and trying to keep other fighters off the stage. And yes, the first ever spear fighter doesn't have to be Bandana Waddle Dee, but why wouldn't it be? The only issue I really have with imagining Waddle Dee's inclusion is his alt costumes. I mean, he appeared in Kirby the Fighters too, so there's a couple to pull from there, but other than that, I'm kind of stumped. Of the major games that this guy appears in, I've only played 2, so there's definitely a lot that I'm missing in terms of potential looks for him to don, but I think having some of his alts just be other types of Bandana Dee adjacent enemies, like Waddle Dees and Waddle Doos, could be pretty neat. Look, I'm far from an authority when it comes to the Sonic series, but how the hell has the Blue Blur been in 3 Smash games and still not received a second character from his series to fight alongside him? Sure, we can talk about how Sonic's moveset basically consists entirely of the spin dash, and he has one of the worst selections of stages in the series, but not today. I'm clearly busy. I want to focus on how his series has never received another fighter. Fucking Final Fantasy received a second fighter before Sonic did, and considering how strict Square Enix were with what they allowed in Smash alongside Cloud, Sonic should have gotten a new fighter 2 games ago. There are a lot of characters throughout the series that could easily merit joining the roster, the most obvious of which being Tails, Sonic's sidekick. There's definitely a solid case to be made for old Miles Prower over there. His 2 tails, as seen through a lot of Sonic media, have a lot of combat potential, and having Sonic's little buddy with him would make a lot of sense. A very similar argument could be made for Knuckles, although I would personally argue that he would probably just play like a big punchy man, and there's a lot of those in Smash. Sure, gliding and climbing walls are also a big part of his character and gameplay, but gliding hasn't really been seen since Brawl, and climbing walls, it's not gonna have that much competitive use. So, considering Smash Ultimate's theme of heroes and villains, I'm gunning for Dr. Eggman. Hear me out. He could have a Jim Carrey alt costume. I just think he's the best candidate. I know people wanted Shadow on the build-up to Ultimate's release, but I think that was mostly under the guise of him being an Echo fighter. Now, again, I'm not an authority figure when it comes to Sonic, so I haven't really been able to come up with a moveset for the guy, but he's the series' main antagonist, and has appeared in countless pieces of Sonic media. I have no doubt the Smash team could make a moveset for him that rivals Sonic's in the realm of making every move the same and hoping we didn't notice. The Zelda series is in a very similar predicament to a lot of series in Smash, being in desperate need of a new fighter. The last time we got a truly new character from the Zelda series was Brawl with Toon Link. Ultimate did see all of the existing characters from the series refined to near perfection and also give Ganondorf a sword, but I think it's time for a new character. specifically from the newest era of Zelda. That's right, I thought it. Breath of the Wild Link isn't enough for me, and now I've said it. My vote for a new character from this series goes to Impa. More specifically, young Impa, as seen in Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Impa as a character is pretty integral to this branch of Zelda games, and her younger counterpart has a lot of moveset potential from Age of Calamity alone. You'd have to take some liberties, granted, but her style of fighting can probably fit quite well into Smash, and make for a really fun fighter while we're at it. This is the character I think is most likely from the Zelda series, but if I were to have it my way, I'd add a champion to the game. I think by the time a new Smash game comes around, any new Zelda character would most likely be from Tears of the Kingdom rather than Breath of the Wild. So that makes a champion pretty unlikely. And also, I don't see how they would go about picking just one. They could do something like Pokemon Trainer from Brawl and let you switch between them all, but they've also started to lean away from that idea since that game, so I can just as easily see them not doing that. But it's still a fun idea to think on, and if they were to do just one? Revali. My final most wanted character is in a similar vein to my champion idea. A lot of people want to see Paper Mario make his way to Smash, and while I think that would undoubtedly be cool, I don't know if there's much of a moveset there. Like, he has his jump and hammer, he can flip from 2D to 3D, do the twirl move from 64, and that's about it. So instead of focusing on Paper Mario himself, I think the Smash team should instead choose to focus on his partners. Now, granted, his partners could just be a part of the moveset for Paper Mario in Smash, but I think having all of the partners from a game be their own character would be really fun. In terms of which partners we should go with here, Origami Kings have one single move each, Huey wouldn't really work, Kirsty should burn in hell, the Pixels all basically have one gimmick and there's 46 of them, 64's group would work, and the Thousand Year Doors are the best candidate. I don't know if any of the partners have enough source material to pull from for a whole ass moveset, but they each have different moves and abilities you can unlock throughout the Thousand Year Door that could be really interesting to see in a Smash game. They'd obviously have to be heavily reworked to work in a fighting game style compared to a turn-based RPG, but it could work if they really wanted it to. I just think this idea is a bit more interesting than just having Paper Mario in there. It would force the devs to really think outside of the box. But I also understand that it might just not work at all. But isn't that the fun part of imagining brand new Smash characters? They might not work even the tiniest little bit, but if you want a character in that badly, you'll think of a creative way around it. But like I said, I don't really want any of these characters badly enough to create a full moveset and working prototype. I just think the conversation of new Smash characters is incredibly interesting. And also incredibly easy. All you do is predict a Smash Ultimate port, with Funky Kong as a clone of DK, you make a fake box art, and suddenly you're on Nintendo's hit list.